This video is about a great way to learn and understand algebra, spotting patterns, and how to help your learners learn by doing rather than being taught. Subscribe, comment and ding the notification bell to make sure you don't miss our latest videos. Today's video is about learning the basics of algebra. Instead of teaching listen and learn, which is more like listen and forget, it's about allowing the learner to do the activity and work it out for themselves, which is the objective of all the AIMSEC, Aiming High activities, and is the philosophy of bubbly maths. So the first thing we want to do is do the activity for all, which is an activity that even young learners can do. And if you're a teacher, then you'll know this. If you're a parent who's watching this, so we've got 2 plus 1 times 2 minus 1. You do 2 times 2 plus 2 times minus 1 plus 1 times 2 plus 1 times minus 1. If you do it really, really, really simply, one step at a time, you get that. And then you can now, I've put the minus ones in brackets. So the next line, well, they're still in brackets, but I have done the multiplications. And then I have made it just the simple numbers. And then I've done the operations, which, so you've got 4 minus 2 plus 2 minus 1. So I've got rid of the plus 2 minus 2 and ended up with 4 minus 1 and finally 3. And I had actually put an exclamation mark at the end of it because that's part of my way of doing things. I put exclamation marks everywhere. It's probably a bad habit according to an English teacher, but it means factorial. So I thought, oops, I better take the explanation mark or point out of it. So the answer is 3. Now with numbers, that seems to be a bit pointless. Why don't you just say 2 plus 1 times 2 minus 1 is, well, it's 3 times 1. Well, why not just do that? The reason for doing this is twofold. We want a very simple method that everyone can do. So the idea behind it is to start working algebraically without any mystery. There are no X's, no R's, no I's, no Y's, it's just numbers. And so this would be an appropriate activity for someone who can do very simple multiplications. And what you're then going to do is look for the patterns. So you're going to go down every line. You're going to look for, do those 4 operations and then maybe extend it a bit more and see if you can find the pattern. Now, you don't have to find it, write it mathematically. You can just say what the pattern is, come up with an answer, come up with a system, come up with what is happening between each line, what is happening on every line, and just say it in your native language, the language that you learn maths in. But what I want you to do is to go to the Aiming High website to this activity. So you can just go to the Aiming High and search for GB Algebraically, or you can click on the link in the description. You will find activities that will help you facilitate this. Now remember, we're examining the difference between the teaching style of listening and learning. In other words, that the learner sits down, listens to what you're saying, and supposed to learn, or a do and learn, as in the learner does an activity for themselves and works it out by discussion, works it out inductively. Another post was put on the AIMSEC Facebook page today, and that is some quotes, one from Confucius. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Another one, this is a Chinese proverb. Tell me, I'll forget. Show me, I may remember, but involve me and I'll understand. And that's what we're looking for, doing and understanding and developing the understanding by doing it yourself. Now, moving on from the simple activity for all with numbers, we're moving on to, if you go onto the Facebook page, you'll see it clearly, the AIMSEC Facebook page, or on the Aiming High website, or the app. There is an app next for someone who's ready to do deeper algebra. But again, this isn't about solving the algebra, this is about finding the patterns. That's what we're looking for all the time in maths. So if you do those activities, do exactly the same thing as I just did here, you expand it out. So you write that out and see what happens. Get to the point where it's the simplest thing it can be, involving one number and expressions involving R, cancelling out any numbers that are plus and minus the same, or any symbols that are plus and minus the same. And just do that for all of those, and then continue. This goes up to R squared. R to the power 4 will go up to the power 5 to the power 6, and discuss it. Well, what's going to happen next time? And what do you think? Why it says, explain it. Does the pattern continue? Can you explain it? So just in words, just find your own way. Have your learner find their own way of describing what's happening. And and more powerfully, if you've got several learners, then you can find out what different people are thinking, and the more that is shared, the greater the understanding of every single student will be. This is a very simple start. It is absolutely following the principle of do and learn. The next thing now is to go to the Aiming High website and download the teacher pack that goes with it, and it's quite extensive and it's very helpful. There's worksheets as well. It'll guide you through, and you've got help steps, you've got next steps. It can take you back to a previous step if this step is a leap too far for some learners. There's a previous activity. One thing it asks in there is for a proof. Just so you know, at this point in the learning, it doesn't have to be an algebraic proof. It just wants to be a conclusion that you are satisfied that works every time, and can predict what's going to happen next time, and can predict what's going to happen if the numbers are 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 or even bigger. Be absolutely certain, really, that what you think is going to happen is what's going to happen.
This activity is called GP Algebraically. There are many more engaging and exciting activities with documents and resources, all free to download for schools and home learning from the Aiming High website and app. Follow the links in the description. Please also support AIMSEC through the GoFundMe link given. Subscribe, comment and ding the notification bell to make sure you don't miss our latest videos.